First encounter with annoying kids. If this story looks familiar, it's probably because you've been on r/retail hell r/tales from her tale or r/anti-work recently. Reposting here because I feel the story fits would cross-boast, but this sub has cross-boasting disabled. It is my own story, you can check my post history. Let me start by setting up the cast. All fake names because privacy through obscurity, and I didn't get the bastards' names. Me equals Blue. Almost 3 years of working at the store. In my late teens. Duty manager equals Allison, Ollie for short. Worked at the store for somewhere between 5 to 10 years. In her 40s/50s, but still polite. Other store staff member equals Elaine. Pretty new, don't think she'd been here a year yet. Worked Saturday night and recognized the kids. Looks to be a year or two younger than me. Annoying kids equals Alex and Freddie, collectively lil shits. No older 12 each. Store greeter relieving me equals Olina. Also pretty new. And rolling cameras. A few may recall my post here a few weeks ago about all the cups I keep finding around my store. I mentioned that I've almost been working here for 3 years. In that time, I have had no direct encounters with an annoying customer. That streak ended yesterday afternoon. My shift was supposed to be 2:30 to 6 on the shop floor. It ended up being 2:30 to 5:30 as store greeter, then 5:30 to 6 on the floor after our scheduled store greeter didn't arrive. Most of the shift was all right. Customers came and went, all was well. Then the lil shits arrived after 5. I didn't notice them, but Elaine, who happened to be asking me about something unrelated, irrelevant, don't bug me over it, when she spied them walk in and swerve over into kids' apparel. If you know the store, you know the store, without even saying hi to me. How rude. She was quick to fill me in. They'd been booted on Saturday night because they got busted shoplifting. Thought they were slick coming back on a night with a different greeter who wouldn't recognize M? Oh, how I laughed. Elaine quickly gets Allison's attention, and about 10 seconds later. Allison, over PA, can we have security to kids, please? Now, at our store at least, this is a scare tactic to make shoplifters think twice before they go ahead. If you keep it up, we'll eventually call the security office / a nearby security guard, have M tail you, and if they reckon you're planning theft, they'll give you the boot. Anyways, Ollie calls for security to different areas as the lil shits float around. Meanwhile, Allison has Elaine spying on another customer she suspects to be a shoplifter. She ended up being all clean. Eventually, while she's floating up the back, looking down the laneway at me, the twerps skulk right behind her. I advise her over the two-way to turn around, but by the time she did, they disappeared into sporting. She perches up the front, and we just watch M crossing between the kids and home sides, snaking up and down. At one point, I saw them tossing handballs into the air and catching them. Hope they didn't pay for. M kinda wanted to make M shit their pants when they walked out if they didn't after the PA calls. They continue weaving. At one point while crossing that same spot I mentioned above, they had the balls to wave at Ollie and I, and the next time, she beckons for them to come closer to us. To my surprise, they did, but tried to walk out the opposite side to where we were standing. They got blocked, and we told M not to bother returning because they were just a nuisance. Asked M if they paid for their handballs. Surprisingly, they'd put them back. They emptied their pockets to prove it without me asking, and yep, all they had were their phones. With a raised eyebrow, I let him pass. As they walked off into the mall outside our shop, Alex turns around and pulls double birdies at us. I just turn around, jaw hanging. Me, did you see that? Ollie, yep. I roll. Eventually, Olina shows up, I fill her in, and go about with what I should have been doing 3 hours ago. We get a spill in cosmetics, which Ollie heads off to clean, and then Olina calls over the two-way that they're back. Ollie asks me to go drive them away again. Speed walking, I storm back to the front, telling them they have a lot of nerve returning to a shop they've been soft banned from, no official trespass notice yet, so no cops called, and tell them to leave before we take further action. Freddie actually uses his brain and leaves, but Alex runs off into kitchen. Oh no, he didn't. I continue pursuing him, maintaining my previous pace, eventually finding him hiding in an aisle in Manchester. Found you, I called, only for him to bolt back to the door. The aisles are double-ended, and find sanctuary in the arcade with Freddie. Of course, I warn them about what's going to happen next time, trespass notice, and they just sit at a table, giggling to themselves. You think I jest? When it comes to dealing with idiots like you, we never jest. I remember wanting to storm out there and punch their heads in, followed by thinking, restrain yourself, Blue, you're in your uniform, you're in your workplace, you're on the clock, you don't want to risk your job, or any future job. Or a black mark on your white record. They were gone when I left at 6. TLDR, clown shoplifters think they slick for coming back on a night with a different store greeter. They get recognized by a staff member from the night before when they got the boot and end up getting the boot again. Twice. Rant over. Thank you all for coming to my TED Talk. Update, first encounter with entitled kids. Alright, it's been a week and a half since I posted this and boy do I have an update. I was back in at work on Saturday during the day and quickly ran into Ollie, the duty manager. Asked her if she'd heard much more about Alex and Freddie, the lil shits. She hadn't. I was just like, they're gonna be back, I'd bet any money. Famous last words. Not even 10 minutes later, I was out on the shop floor heading over to the service counter looking for customers who may need help on my way there when I spied an all too familiar black shirt in cosmetics. It didn't register initially, so I kept walking before it does finally register. I step back, my head snapping in his direction. Nope. He's gone. I keep walking, finish my start of shift routine, let checkouts and service desk know which side of the store I'm on, write the number for my store phone down for the desk, then check how full the returns pile is, and as I'm heading past the service desk, there they are. The lil shits. And they've got lady friends with them this time. Not their mothers. 2 young girls about the same age. Our eyes cross. Cue ensuing conversation. Freddie, oh hello Blue. Me, through gritted teeth, hello again boys. What brings you back here? Alex, just shopping, you know? Me, sure, but your logic makes no sense. You get busted attempting to shoplift, get the boot, get told not to bother coming back, then you come back the next night likely planning the same thing. You get booted twice more and now you're back again. They just ignore me and disappear. I'm straight on the 2-way radio alerting Ollie to their presence. She finds them, tells them they aren't improving their reputation before asking the girls if they're aware of the lil shits' attempts at shoplifting. Apparently they were. So of course they get warned that if the boys keep shoplifting and they just do nothing, then they could potentially land themselves in trouble as well. After all, if they associate with the boys and then don't do anything to stop them should they attempt to shoplift, they do open themselves to the potential to be charged with accessory to shoplifting. They left not long after. They did return with a group twice as big and crossed me again. They asked me if I was homosexual. I didn't reply, not wanting to give them that satisfaction before anyone asks here though. I am straighter than a ruler and of course warned Ollie they were trying to be annoying again. They were lucky they left again. Later I was chatting to the store greeter, call him Pete, warning him about the lil shits, and apparently Elaine wasn't the first to spot them last Saturday. He was there in the morning when one of the other managers gave them the boot. Apparently they're regulars, so of course they get teased when they show up to stir shit. Story 2. AITA for saying my memory book is not some family project? I 17M lost my dad 10 years ago. When he got sick he started a memory book with me so that I could hold onto the memories. He did one for my sister too, but she wasn't as into it and was more into videos he made of himself. But for me, the memory book was everything, and after he died I continued adding to it. Any memory I had of my dad or our family I would add. Sometimes something came back when I found a random photo or something. Then I included memories with my sister after Dad. Sometimes I included some memories of Mom, but after Dad died my relationship with her was harder. She thought we needed another dad, and because we said we didn't want another dad, she was angry with us a lot. She tried to rush a couple of relationships, but they failed when the guy realized he was not getting an insta-happy family. 5 years ago my mom met her husband John and they merged families. John was a single dad of 3 kids. Technically he has 4 kids, but one is not in his life. John's 3 kids do not have an involved mom, so my mom has stepped up to be their mom and they call her mom. John has tried to step up to be mine and my sister's dad. But we see him as just a stepdad. John's kids are just step-siblings and I don't love John and his kids. I don't hate or dislike them. But I wouldn't ever include them in my memory book, for example. And that's what this is about. My step-siblings were in my room when I was in school a couple of weeks ago and they found the memory book. They wanted to know why I had it and why I didn't have photos of their dad or them. My mom heard them ask those questions and she demanded to look through it. While Mom was going through it my step-siblings said they wanted to add their own stuff and I said no, it's not for them. Mom told me not to say that kind of thing to them and then she told me it should be something that shares memory of our whole family. I told her it was my personal thing. She took it away for a few days and my sister stole it back and then I asked my grandpa to hold onto it for me. Mom and John sat me down and said it's not acceptable that I have a memory book that's clearly about my family when I don't include my whole existing family. They said my step-siblings were very upset that I wouldn't add them or let them take part. They then said it should be a family thing and Mom insisted I hand it back over and we all work on it together. I told them it's not a family project. It's mine. It's for me and my way of documenting memories of the people I love, and they will not take it away from me. John was pissed and said, "Oh, so it's like that, so you don't love us." Mom told me she and John had the right to say what was or wasn't a family project, and once it's in their home, that's their decision. She also told me I was disrespectful for talking back. They also told me it was time to man up. Ida?